Peace and blessings, everyone. Welcome back to my channel, Queen Arset here. And today I'm going to do a video response to Brant of Moon Baby. I have enjoyed watching everyone else's VRs and looking at their collections and going down memory lane with some of the decks that I had tucked away, put away. It's taken me a couple of days to pull everything together. I am literally sitting in a pile of hot mess right now. But as I was going through everything, I realized that a lot of what I have was unfortunately going to be thrown away. Uh, Not a huge percentage, but enough. We live in a society where we want the newest, the latest, the fastest, the shiniest. Our standards have gone through the stratosphere of what we're looking for in regards to everything across the board. I'm going to show you some of the decks and how they have come into my life. For instance, the Cosmic Tarot. This is the old box. It's worn and torn and well loved, and it's been replaced by that pretty blue box and everything like that. But the cards are still in like seriously good shape in spite of the box. Let's see, they're still in good shape. Wow. Okay. We know who that is. May you rest in peace. Speaking of which, I was looking for my 007 deck, and maybe I'll pause and find that. But okay, so that's the Cosmic Tarot. And the other deck I have, I think that this one may have been reprinted. I've had this for a while too. The Crystals Tarot. I think it's printed with a more dense and more colorful box, outer box and such. Wow, see the price on that? Yeah, and again, the cards are in really good shape still, in spite of the wear and tear on the box. So I may have been really, really rough with my boxes because I'm one of those people that travels with my box and keeps them going. I was never really a bag person per se. Let me see. Here's another one. This one I've kept in with a rubber band. This is the Renaissance Tarot, and it's a pip. Well, pipish, we'll say. Pipish deck. And I know we tend to be precious about our decks and such, and we should. You invest money, you pay money for them, so you should take care of them. But we should also be in a place where we use them. So here is a deck. Let me see. I have a couple of them that did this. Here's another one. Wow. Can you tell? I mean, like, seriously? Am I a bad person for keeping my decks like this? I don't think so. I mean, I have another copy. I have the box set, but something about a deck that's like this, well worn. Okay. And then, back in the day, you used to go into the woo-woo shop and they would have deck on chain, hole punched. Let me see if you can see that. I have a few decks that I've acquired that way. They're getting rid of the deck, or the deck is out of print, and so what else were they going to do with the deck? Because for the most part, the deck is considered damaged. Let's see. Here's one. The Flowers Speak. I want to adjust the lighting. Anyway, this is the Flower Speaks. And then this is a deck. This next one here, I believe, is a deck. Shapeshifters has the hole in it, but it's still readable. I might pull this deck out. I might reconnect with this. Okay, so just going down memory lane and remembering what I had and haven't used in a while, and I guess I'm feeling, a little Six of Cups ish, a little nostalgic. Let's see. Wow. Before it became a ginormous deck, that one. And I hunted and hunted and hunted and hunted so long to find that deck in that size that I didn't think it was possible that I was ever going to find the deck in this cute little, this is probably like the ideal size of a tarot deck for me. I mean, I don't know. It depends. Sometimes I'm fickle that way. But, as I said, people tend to like the new, the fast, the flashy. And so, that deck showed up. I'm going to say a few months ago. Brand new. It was in a box of things that someone was giving away. See if I can get the cover off here. Guidebook, brand new deck, still in the wrapper. Sometimes the universe does answer the call. Just saying. Don't deny your biggest wishes. Anyway, so on with the show. So the first question is, my most expensive deck. Well, you guys are not unfamiliar with Andrea Fertig's deck, the Afro Goddess. But I love this creator so much that I will buy everything that she makes. I will buy. Let's move this out of the way. Her tapestries. Her guidebooks. Her artwork. Her candles. Let's see. I've got some jewelry here. I was recently gifted this. Andrea Fertig, to me, is one of those artists that I will have no issue putting down my credit card for. I love her work. It's innovative. It's creative. I mean, look at this Queen of Wands. That's my card. That's me. We've never met in person. I just remember when her first deck, the original Arcana, was in Kickstarter. I watched that deck come to fruition. I watched as we got within the hour, the minutes of this deck coming to fruition. Can you see that? Look at that. Look at that. I have no other deck that looks like this. None. So this, I'm going to say that this whole compendium, if you want to call it that, this whole thing is my most expensive investment. It's more than just one deck. It's more than just one thing. This is artwork. This is creativity unleashed. This is joy and abundance. These are items that I would gladly hand down. I mean, this, look at, can you see that? I want you to see that. I need to turn, there we go, a little bit. Do you see the deliciousness of that? Doesn't that look like a dessert, a very decadent sorbet? Anyway, everything that she does is delicious. Everything. I've got her guidebooks and she's coming out with an 8-ball. I pre-ordered that. It's supposed to drop December 1st. I pre-ordered it. Go to her website and yeah. So anything she's making, I don't care if it's cotton balls on construction paper, I'm going to invest in it. So the most expensive deck right now for me, yeah, it's probably this one. Now, let's put that away. Or I have the True Black Tarot, and that was kind of pricey there as well. But maybe it's my Journey into Egypt deck. So, you know, it's kind of tie for first place here. The deck and the guidebook, the cardstock is not that great. I mean, it's very, very thin. It really is. But the cards are large. The imagery is luscious. I mean, oh my God. Julia Kuchia Watts. This is fantastic. Like, I'm just loving it. I love this deck. Okay. That's tarot decks. So I know that that's what we're focusing on now because I do have some pricey oracle decks, but we're not doing that today. All right. So the next question is my least expensive deck. Now, I live near a Five Below, and I have that Five Below deck. You can buy a tarot deck at Five Below for $5. Okay, so if you're looking for a deck, inexpensive, maybe something you want to mock up, write on, you know, draft your notes and such on, go to your local Five Below. Or initially I had thought it would have been these, the Spirit Halloween cards. You can get them for about $7 now, really cheap. I think the first time that I came across them, they came in just a cheapy box. Now that they've upgraded, we've got 2-piece boxes and such like that. I just like the pink color box. So, cards are the same. I want to say this is Vera Shrook. I don't remember. I think she did the Samurai Tarot deck. Anyway, I know that she's got fabric printed with this imprint. But I actually have that beat by another deck that I used to buy. Oh dear. Let's see. In quantities to give to my tarot students. Give me a second. I'll be right back. Okay. So, the deck that I think is really the cheapest, it comes to about $2.25 because I used to buy them in packs of 3 to give out, is that deck. I think I have a few more of this left. A few years ago, I was able to buy Miss Cleo's deck for pennies. I used to get 3 packs for about $5. I'm serious, like the deck reads incredibly well. It's just one that I just give out for people when they, they want to branch out and do something different. So about $2. That was then. Maybe now you might want to check the price, but that was the cheapest deck that I had. So now we're on to the decks that others would want to steal. Well, I already had someone steal my Delta Enduring. That's not an unknown fact. Whenever I see someone showing theirs, I just go down memory lane about mine. I didn't even have an opportunity to work with it properly. I had taken it to the store one day and then it disappeared. It disappeared. So I hope the person who has it, I wish on them very itchy extremities. I do. And a huge bout of intestinal situations. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. Okay. So perhaps the deck, maybe this one. You see, I haven't even taken it out of the plastic yet. It's what I call the Hope Diamond of Tarot. Whatever you think could go wrong, did go wrong. Poor Avalon Cameron and Anatorian. Like, they went through so much to get this deck out. And Avalon is going through so much still with people. Like, oh my gosh. People. Anyway, it's still in the plastic. I'm not even sure if I'm going to open it yet. My one regret is that I should have bought 2 copies, because when it was first announced, the price, Avalon's price, was so incredibly low. Yeah, I should have gotten 2 copies. But we'll see. I heard great things about the guidebook. I haven't opened it yet, and who knows? Maybe I will, maybe I won't. So that's the Hope Diamond of Tarot. But maybe they'd want to steal this from me. The Deck of 1,000 Spreads. I want to say Kim, I forget. She's putting together, or she's got a Kickstarter, something to do with like a deck, a spread deck that she's created. It's on Kickstarter. If I remember, I'll put the link below. But I hear that this deck is in high demand as well. So maybe someone want to steal that one from me. Or maybe they'd want to steal this from me. The Thoth deck with the 3 magicians. I'm sorry. Is it the 3 magicians? Yes, the 3 mags. Or maybe this one. Maybe they want to steal that one from me. And you see, it does have the 3 magicians. Let's see. And there we are. Can I get this over? Let me move this over a little bit. Maybe I should keep them separately, so then, one is stolen, I still have one of the other. Yeah? Don't know. Who knows? Okay. Let's see. Let's put that away. Or maybe they'd want to steal, I don't know, what I call the Titanic of Tarots. This is a project. This is actually two separate decks. That was initiated on Kickstarter about 5-6 years ago. The Voodoo Project. Yeah. And it's still live on Kickstarter as we speak. And every now and then someone will come in and say, "Where's my money? What happened to the deck? What's going on?" Well, I got a copy of the deck. And like I said, I call it the Titanic of the Tarot. So this is more like an oracle deck, but it helps if you know something about different deities. This is more like an oracle deck. Now, a few months ago, I reached out to the creator, and I did implore him to at least come in and let the people know what is going on, what happened. I got my deck ethically and fairly, meaning I paid for it, okay? This is the Orisha deck. This is probably the only Orisha deck, or one of the few Orisha decks out here that is pretty much true to the Orisha. As you know, we do not do anything concerning the Orisha with cards, but if you wanted to have a representation, this would be the deck that you'd want to get. No guidebook. This would be the deck that you would sit with an elder. You see, many of you are only familiar with just a handful of the Orisha, but I am showing you quite a few of their aspects. So, maybe this is the deck someone would want to steal from me. Oh, and it would land on Shango, Kaiwo, Gabiosile, meaning Shango is the Orisha of justice. So I would suggest that maybe you don't steal this deck. Okay. I had a little fun there with that. Okay, let's see. I think that is it with the decks that people want to steal. I do have a couple of others, but I think I've had enough fun for now. So I'll be right back. Give me a second, because the next question is my strangest deck. And I've got 4. Hold on. So my strangest deck, the first one that I have is the Londa Tarot. And it's because it has that's actually my favorite card in the deck. Who are you really? It's the first time I've ever encountered a tarot deck that actually asks that question. But I like the elven nature of the deck. This is one of the decks that I would pull out to read for my male clients. This deck is out of print. I managed to save another copy that has a hole in it. So, yeah. That one. I like the ethereal, as I said, elven, stretched out humanoid figures, and maybe that's why I have an affinity or a love of maybe the Fae. My other one is the Fantastical Tarot. This is another one that is a little bizarre and yet not. I mean, can I show you my birth cards? Look at that. Look at that. Look at my cards, people. Look. Look. Look at the power in that. Oh my gosh. Abso-freaking-lutely. Like, whew. Just something about these cards. I just love them. So, yeah. Right? It's just kind of strange. It's a little off-putting. This is the back. Has that dreamy, otherworldly, of course, nature. And there have been times when I pull this deck out to read for other people, it like gets into their subconscious, you know. It seems initially non-threatening, and again, it's liked by the male and male identifying population. So, my other strange deck, How to Normal Tarot, and this is one that I don't know. I don't know. I haven't sat with this for some time yet. I haven't sat with it for a little bit, but I wanted something. Where did I put this? Let's put that there. So I can put that there. Okay. I wanted something, you know, a little different. So I'm going to work with the guidebook. And let's see what it has to tell me, what it has to teach me. I'm curious. I am very, very curious. So, strange deck. And I think my other strange deck is, I mean, honestly, a lot of these decks are strange. You have to think about it. Is this one. I keep it. And this is called, look at that box. Tarot of the Inner Mask. I mean, it's bizarre. Right, this is the back of the deck. I'm sorry. All right. The deck is set up. So these are, I'll move this out of the way. These are different spreads. I have a huge binder. I printed out everything from the website, and this is the back of the card. So, the Empty Man. Look at that. The Inner Mask. That was the card that caused me to want to get this deck. Do you see what it says here? Know thyself. Many times we tend to make the travel, the trek, to look for something outside of ourselves, to look for the answers, to get validation, clarification, you know, recognition, something. But this says, know thyself. And so the journey starts with you getting to know yourself. And maybe that's why I like the Londa deck, because it does ask you, who are you really? Who? So that wraps up my strangest decks for now. I'm sure I probably have some others somewhere, but for now, yeah. Okay. So question number 5. Decks others are least likely to have. I'm not sure. This one is an oldie. I don't know how many people have this. The Silicone Dawn. Silicone Dawn. Small cards again. I mean, look at the size of these cards. I love them. I love them. I love them so much. Tiny, cute, adorable. I'm not sure how many people actually have this deck. It is out of print. I don't see it around too much. I don't see too many people using it. Have used it too much. But that one. And let me see. Maybe this one. The Maria Leonza deck. So when people travel, I always ask them to bring me back a deck or a piece of cloth. And this was gifted to me. So let me see. I'll put this away. Whew. That's the thing when you do these VRs, because they're done live, and you guys know that I do not edit. So the cardstock, not exactly. So of course it's in. We have the instructivo. And it's in Spanish. And this is from Argentina. Cardstock is not fantastic. It's kind of pippish. But yeah. You know. I don't know too many people who have this in their collection. I'm just saying. All right. My next deck that not too many people have, maybe, tell me, maybe this one. And this is also the oldest deck in my collection. I'm gonna say 1969. This is not quite a tarot deck, not quite considered a tarot deck. It's considered more of a fortune-telling deck. And I am actually working to learn this. There's a website that I visit. If anyone has a book that you can guide me to, I would love to learn a bit more about this oracle deck. And it's not well, every deck is an oracle. Okay, let's just get that. But I'm curious to learn a little bit more about this system. So this is by BP Grimaud, and I want to say it's from, yeah, 1969. Okay, let's see. I wish I could find my, oh, I do have another deck. Okay, so while the Atella, the Grand Atella, maybe the oldest deck I have in my collection, it's not the deck that I've had the longest in my collection. If you've been watching me for a little bit, then you know that I started my tarot journey with this, the Aquarian. And while this is not the exact deck, this is the deck. And I managed to find one. Let me see. The cardstock, I mean, no borders on the back. The cardstock is like seriously thick. I want to say the copyright on this, you have no copyright on the outside of the cards. You know, I know people are like stickler for that. This is what the guidebook looks like. And I managed to track one down on eBay. So this was the very first tarot deck that I had, but it was not the first time that I was exposed to tarot. The very first time that I was exposed to tarot was watching James Bond and Jane Seymour, that Witch's Tarot, and I have a copy of that deck somewhere about here. But anyway, no, this is not the oldest deck. the deck I've had the longest. The deck I've had the longest, all things considered, right now, I want to say it's probably this one. Tarot of the Ages. Again, it's that small, narrow deck. Let me see. Do I have that? Oh. Kind of reminds me of my Art Nouveau that I had. You could tell I had that for a while too. There is no box on that one. I don't know. One of these might be the oldest, but Tarot of the Ages, and maybe that answers the other question as well for me. We'll go through that. Go back to that, but yeah, this was reprinted with a different box on the outside, different imagery, but I'll segue. It's probably one of the cards or one of the decks that started me on my collection journey. I'll get to that in a second though. Okay, so my newest deck, brand new, this one, the Pistis Sophia. Red Feather had posted some images on Instagram, and of course there is an image of Oya posted. Well, actually there was an image of Isis first, and I wanted to know, because their spiel was that it was for everybody across the board, blah blah blah, and we know that when they say everybody, that unfortunately many of our buddies are not included. So I wanted to know if Isis was the only depiction of goddess out of Africa. And they came in with a list of all the goddesses. So this is just a major only deck. And then they showed me an image of Oya. And you know how I feel about Oya, people. You know how I feel about my mama. Okay? You know I don't even have to explain. Seriously. My mother? Okay, so I'm going to do a walkthrough of this. But they had Oya as a tower. Does it get any better? Perfect! The depiction, not as clear as I would like it to be, but okay, you get it. You see that? Luscious. But let me tell you, what they wrote in this guidebook about my mama. When I say that they cited books that someone actually read, you get 5 out of 5 stars for this right here. Kim Huggins and Nick Phillips, you guys get 5 out of 5. I haven't even done a walkthrough. I haven't really fully read the book. I just read what you had to say about my mother. Thank you. Thank you for being honorable and respectful and doing your research. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, folks. So that's one of my new decks. And here's another deck I just got. Made by the same people who did that one, Debris. And what's the other deck that they did? The all black deck that everybody's trying to find right now. I mean, if you want to have it as part of your collection, great. So, imagine to my amazement when I saw this deck. What? Oh my gosh. You've got to be kidding me. Yeah? Alright, don't expect anything fancy schmancy. Look at the tower card. Yeah? Okay. I need to see what this is all about because, shit, gotta be something, right? That's the back of the deck. It's the back of the cards. Right? The imagery. Let's move this out of the way so that you can concentrate on this imagery. Not bad. More of a South African, West African feel. Yeah? Okay. So, yesterday, I like that depiction, by the way. I contacted the illustrator because that's what I do. Okay? And I asked, hey, where did you get your inspiration from? Because I'm getting a WA and an SA feel. And the person responds and says, I don't know what you mean by WA and SA. So I break it down and I say West African and South African. And they responded and said they were inspired by bits of cloth and fabric and vitreous that they had laying about to create this deck. And I was like, oh, well, Africa's a continent with 50 plus countries, and every country has their fabric, has their textile, which tells a story. I mean, I guess. Deep sigh, deep sigh, deep sigh. Whoo sigh. Yeah, baby. That's why we do this. Yes? Okay. So that's my newest deck. Getting back to that. The deck that made me want to collect decks in the first place, as I said, collecting decks just became an offshoot. People will come to me with their decks that they didn't want anymore, drop them off, leave them here, leave them in the shop and such, you know. But the two decks that made me wanted to collect decks in the first place, you guys have seen this, you're not new. I'm going to say it's this one and Throw the Ages, because these decks represented other cultures. And I figured, well, got two here. This is the original. Got two here, two decks. There's got to be other decks that have depictions of other cultures, that perhaps the tarot isn't just relegated to, one particular civilization, I should say. So I started looking, and yeah. Anyway, my favorite deck from my collection, I do have a few honorable mentions before I get to my favorite deck, and then I'm going to let you guys go. So this one, it's not a tarot deck, but it's more like an oracle deck, and it's fun and snarky, and it's great for when you go to like a restaurant, because people aren't really put off by. Look at this one. Oh, well, gee, thanks. Ooh, diarrhea of the mouth. Yeah. Hold my weave. Stop being such a. There you go. Get a grip. Right? So, I like to take that with me to parties. At the end of the day, I'm a card slinger. I do have this one. I don't know if anyone's seen this. Spiritual tarot. But when I go to like gem shows or psychic fairs, whatever, I'm always on the lookout for a deck, an oracle deck, anything. And I found this deck. The creator of this deck is Marie Claire Wilson, and she had this deck. It's mages only, and I picked it up. I like the little cute cards. Nice guidebook. I haven't really done a whole lot with it, but it's part of my collection, and I'm not sure if it belongs or anybody else has it in their collection. I'm just taking a look here. Not too much has gone far away from the standard tarot deck, but I'll leave it at that. Maybe I'll go through it one of these days and do a little bit more research. Okay, now here's another one that you probably will not have in your collection. What you are familiar with now, most of you, is that bright, brilliant yellow box that's on the shelves. But you see the beauty of this when it first came out? Yeah. That. The book is in Spanish and English. It was put out by Llewellyn. I think you can still get this book. There you go. It came with ritual instructions in both Spanish and English. And of course, you know, the deck is still the same. And nothing has changed about the deck if you have it. Right? That's the back of the deck. Nothing has changed. But the beauty of this, and why this is part of my collection, and probably I'll be buried with this particular copy, is, wait for it. Wait for it. I do have one other thing I want to show you. I just love showing my stuff. Oops. The spreadsheet. You can't see it all, but it's there. With the Orisha, the representation of the Orisha, the Elekes, the elements. This is a spreadsheet. One of these days I'm going to have this pressed out and laminated and like that. See that eye? I'm looking at you, just so you know. So, that's one. And I have one more before I get to my favorite deck. I want to thank you all for staying with me, because you guys know I'm long-winded, right? So, you know, it's been a while. I have this thing here. I hope I have enough room. It's called the board, tarot card board. And it gives you instructions for doing a reading. And this was put out by tarot4u.com. They are actually were called the House of Illusion. And I want to say that this was published around 1995, 6 or 7. Yeah, so it gives you a little guidebook. But it actually folds out like a board. I mean, a game board, of course, because that's what it's called, a tarot board. I can't see all of it because it's about, oh, I don't know, 16 by 18, something. Let's see if I can get this down flat. But I do want to show you something that made me think. And I remember I brought this to someone's attention a while ago. Let's see if I can do this. Can you see? Let me see. Can I get it there? What it says for the Chariot. Do you see that? Ah. And here is Temperance. Ooh. Why do I not? Oh, there we are. See what it says for Temperance? So, yeah, it's a board that I guess you could say it's almost like an astro. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 12 cards down. Each position represents something. Yeah. Maybe I'll see if I can get this reduced. And then we'll take a better look at it. We have here the astro signs and their attributes, and then of course the major arcana and their attributes. That is something I wanted to share with you. Put that away. Like I said, people drop stuff off that you wouldn't even think about having. But, okay. All right. So I have a couple of favorite decks. I have two that they were a favorite way back when that I realized I just need to pull off the shelf and reconnect with. Actually do something with. I really enjoyed working with them at the time. I have not done anything with them too much since. It's been a number of years, so I feel like it is probably time for me to sit with the Fairy Wicker Tarot. And I had gotten the big box. See, it says demo. When they were getting ready to toss it out, I feel like it's time for me to tap back into that. That's there for me. You can see I was doing a little bit of work. Yeah. For the other part of my ancestry. And that's before I had done anything with Tarot de She. It was the Fairy Wicker Tarot deck. One. The other deck is this one. When I was attempting to learn something about astrology, this was the deck. Like I said, we tend to go for the new, the fancy, the schmancy, all of that stuff. And, you know, we got all this good stuff waiting for us. This was actually my first square deck. And then I remember Veronica Jude cutting up the Rider-Waite deck and making it square. And I just need to reconnect with this. You know, sometimes there's nothing wrong with going back to the basics of things. Get this back in here. So those are two decks that I'm going to work with, I believe. Oh, I'm putting that out there this season. I'm making it public. Whoa, with all the things I have to do. I'll make it public. I'm going to put that over here. Well, this is not a tarot deck, but it is one of my favorite decks to work with. Get her out of here. My African Divination deck. This is probably a deck that people want to steal from me as well. I'm just saying. But you want to be mindful. You know? I'm just saying. And then, when I want to cleanse my palette and reconnect, I guess you could say. Reconnect to the healing that I need. See, I was modifying decks before it was a thing. I modified the back of this because that spider on the back, the Tika spider, just gave me the willies. Anyway, this is the Menuda Tear. I have a huge guidebook that goes with this. This is almost like a course in spiritual development, psychological development, healing your body, your diet, takes you to a place of meditation. The Medunitaire. That one. And last but not least, my other favorite deck is the Little Red One. The Little Red One Divination Deck by Levita Rue, who transitioned about 2 years ago. Ibaye. I still have the box that this deck came to me in. Yeah. It's what she did. She removed the minors and concentrated them all into the 10 energy and such. Wow. I have to laugh. I tell you, I have to laugh sometimes because, yeah, what did I just say? It's time. It's about that time for me. It is. There we are. It's that time. So, I hope you enjoyed that. You spent an hour with me. I hope you enjoyed going through my decks. If there's anything you want to see closer, look at more deeply, let's do a walkthrough, hit me up, send me a message. We'll take a look. And with that, I am complete. Stay blessed until we meet again. Love up on each other. Bye.